Well, hello again, boys and girls. It's great to be in your classrooms this week. So, Kelso explained to you a little bit about how to recognize a small problem from a big problem. A small problem, remember, is a problem that Kelso and I know you are smart enough and strong enough to handle a small problem yourself. And a big problem is a problem that you might need some help with from an adult you can trust. So, in order to handle a small problem, Kelso has this really neat wheel of choices. Remember last week we talked about choices and we talked about consequences. And if you make a bad choice, you're going to get a bad consequence. And remember, a consequence is something that happens after you make a choice. If you make a good choice, then you're going to have a good consequence. So, Kelso's wheel is going to help you make good choices so that you can have a good consequence. Now, keep in mind, these choices on Kelso's wheel are only for problems that are small. Always remember, if you have a big problem, you need to tell a big person or an adult that you can trust. So let's take a look at Kelso's choice wheel. At the very top, you'll see Kelso has a baseball glove, and at the top it says you can go to another game. If you're not getting along with your friends at recess or at PE during free choice play, then you can always just go to another game. This next one says, talk it out. Sometimes, if you're not getting along with your friends from your classroom or your friends at home, maybe you can talk it out. You can talk it out by telling them how you feel when they say or do something. The next one says share and take turns. Share and take turns. That's a really important one to learn, boys and girls. These are all important, but that one is really important because that's how we get along in school. That's how we get along in life, learning how to share and take turns. If just like the two boys in the video who were fighting over the ball, they learned to share and take turns. You can do the same thing if you're playing video games with your brothers or sisters at home or cousins or friends. That's a really good way to share and take turns. You can use a timer. Maybe your mom or dad might have an egg timer at home, a little timer that you turn the knob and it sets a time. So you can have a timer like that, or most all cell phones now have a timer on their a timer app on the phone. So you can use a timer to share and take turns. If the next one is ignore it. If your friends are being mean to you or saying ugly things to you or um, just not being very nice to you, the best thing to do is to try to ignore it. Now, if they keep on not being very nice to you, it might get to the point where you have to tell your teacher. But at first, try to ignore as much as you can. Now, if they're hurting you or hitting you or pinching you, those are things that are big problems, and you have to let the teacher or your mom and dad know. Okay? The next one says walk away. We talked about that one last week. If you get angry, the best thing to do is step away and walk away from the situation, right? And then cool down and then come back and then maybe you can try again playing with your friends. This one here with the stop sign is tell them to stop. If someone keeps bothering you, it is okay for you to ask them to stop. It's not okay for you to hit them or to kick them and tell them to stop. but you can use your voice and tell them very firmly and sternly, please stop. I don't like when you say those things about me. Or, please stop. I don't like when you make fun of me. That's okay to do, and that's what we're supposed to do, boys and girls. That's not a problem when you ask somebody to stop doing something if they are hurting your feelings or they're being mean to you. This next one says apologize. If you know you have done something wrong or you've made a mistake, it's very important, boys and girls, to apologize. And that goes for your teachers, for your friends, for your parents. If you say something mean to your teacher or your parents or your friends, if you say something mean to them or do something mean to them, it's very important to apologize. If you're rude or disrespectful with your parents or your teachers, it's important after you get your consequence, it's important to come back and say you're sorry. The next one is make a deal. Make a deal with your friends. If, like the two boys in the video did, they talked it out and then they made a deal. They decided to share and take turns. So, as you can see, boys and girls, you can do several choices on the choice wheel at one time. The next one says wait and cool off. And we practiced that a little bit last week. There are a couple of things that we talked about that will help you when you are angry. One of those things was to take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. The next one was to count from 1 to 10 very slowly so that the muscles in your body can relax and you can stop yourself from doing something bad or not making a good choice when you're angry. And so, boys and girls, these are just some of the things that you can do that Kelso says you can do to help you to solve a small problem. Remember, if you have a big problem, it's important to tell a big person or an adult. But small problems, Kelso says you are smart enough and strong enough to take care of a small problem yourself. So, thank you very much for listening, boys and girls. Now, I'd like to play a little game if we have time. I'd like to play a little game to see if you know the difference between a big problem and a small problem. Thank you for listening, boys and girls. And here we go. Let's play our game.